Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome, my friends. My name is Vincenzo, and welcome to my channel. And the channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. Folks, I have another Grail pen. Well, definition of Grail pen is very subjective. It all depends. I mean, a Grail pen could be a Twisby. It could be a Lamy Safari. Or it could be a Montblanc 149. In my case, I think it's pens that I've been, hunting for weeks, months, and years, and that I've never really pulled the trigger on. They're a little bit more expensive than standard pens, and I think represent maybe they're a flagship pen for the particular brand, or they're just wonderful writing instruments that I consider special, and to me, the Hunt have made it a Grail. So this is a Grail pen. It's a pen from Graf Von Faber Castell. It's the classic model, and we'll see which one of the classic models I have, that I purchased in Spain, in Seville, Spain, in a wonderful little pen shop that I found in one of the retail districts of Seville. And without any further ado, Fountain Pen Therapy presents the Graf Von Faber Castell Classic Model. Okay, so we're back with the pen. Here is the bag that it came in, and the fountain pen store in Spain was Papeleria Ferrer, founded in 1856. This is a beautiful bag that he came with. It was, of course, in a cardboard box, and I will spare you that unboxing, but I did want to show you very classy paper bag that it came with. Let me just close up here for you. This is the box that it comes in. Graf Von Faber Castell with their logo. Very nice, by the way. Very classy. This is a business card of that pen store in Seville, with their website, and I promised that I would let them know when I publish the video. I'm going to put up on the screen just a shot of the front entrance of that store. Beautiful store, by the way. For those of you who have not seen my video on my vacation in Portugal and Spain, well, here you have it. Beautiful, beautiful store. I enjoyed perusing. I've spent about an hour there speaking to the folks. It was jam-packed, I got to tell you. It just came, people were going in and out, purchasing in and out. So good to see. The pen comes in with this little brochure, gives you the limited warranties, gives you the different pens, especially the classic model. Okay. And the particular, it comes in this little fabric pouch. Very nice, by the way, very nice box that can be used. You open up the little pouch. And I chose, it comes in different wood finishes. It also comes in silver. I chose this Pernambuco color, which is really probably the most popular, I would say. At least whenever I see a classic, I see it in this wood. All the woods are apparently very hard and resistant. And of course, the platinum plated finishes make this pen unique, and we'll take a look at that in a second. So that's the box. Let's put the box and the paperwork and the little bag aside. And here is this gorgeous pen. I just adjusted a little bit of my focus. So what I want you to pay attention to is that beautiful Faber Castell logo right at the top there. It's this cap that makes this pen, I think, unique. You can recognize it, and especially that finial. It kind of flat top, but it just, almost like a mushroom. Well, not really a mushroom, but you know what I mean. Actually, like a trumpet. Very nice, and it's got that ridging right at the top here. Very nice. It's got this beautiful, very springy and functional clip. Faber Castell written on the barrel, handmade in Germany. This beautiful wood, striped, nice finial, platinum finish again. Very, very nice. Let's see how many turns. Look at that, almost half a turn to reveal this gorgeous nib. Again, it's got the logo on the nib, as you can see, the Faber Castell. It's a fine. It is a smallish. I would say it's a number 5. Plastic feed, I think, not a ebonite feed. It is a fine, and it's dual colored in my case. Very nice. It is a cartridge converter, well built, metal on metal. There you go. Screws in very nicely. By the way, the nib can be unscrewed very easily for maintenance purposes. There you have it. Very nice in the hand. It is on the thinnish side. It's got a little bit of a flare. Long section, so you can either write lower down and it doesn't affect, your fingers will never go on that nib. Does it post? It does post, but I think it very back weighted because that cap is really heavy. I would not recommend it, at least not, it's not in my taste, and it is sufficiently long that it need not be posted. So there you have it. Given that in the recent pens, wood has become more and more popular, I figured this is an opportune time for me to get it. And, I bought it in Spain. That's what I could say. And it's a nice addition to my collection. So there you have it. Now, what I propose to do next, folks, is that I'd like to take a look at other pens that have kind of, I wouldn't say cloned this pen, but have been inspired by this pen, just to see where it's situated in terms of looks, and also compare the nibs and see, is this pen, worth the money, because it is fairly expensive. It runs, depending on where you buy it, anywhere between $600 and $800, depending on what site where you buy it. So it's not a cheap pen. But it is a classic, and like I mentioned, for me, it's a grail pen. So let's pull out a bunch of pens that resemble this one and do a comparison. Be right back. Okay, so here you have it. Let me take out where is my pointer? It should be somewhere around here. Can I find my pointer? No, I can't. It's disappeared suddenly. Well, we'll use this. Here we go. So this is the subject pen. I think the one that resembles quite a bit, and you'll see it, there's quite a few Andeans here, is this 1866 Max. Now, the top is not as wide as the Faber Castell, as you could see, but there is, you can see that it's heavily inspired. The clip is different as well, but I think general gist of, you know, a kind of a metal cap with the wooden barrel and a metal and the metal finial, and we'll see how that pen writes in just a second. The same pen in Andean, but in titanium, the TI as they call it. Okay, then you have the 1861 Pro, which is an all brass version. Again, a little bit tighter at the top, but again, very, very much inspired. You've got the 1862 in this kind of rubberish barrel, okay, with a white cap and a silver finial there, okay. You've got this 1860 Max rubberized sort of a patterned barrel, but again, you could see the influence of the Faber Castell, especially at the top finial and the general shape of the pen. You got the slimmer version, which is the 1851. In this, it comes in different colors. You're again a little tighter at the top, much slimmer than the rest. Okay, here we go. We have this 1861 carbon. Is it 1861? Yeah, carbon fiber. Very nice. Take a look at that pattern. I think it's really nice. Again, a little tighter at the top. Not as, it doesn't spread as much as the original. This 3047 has got a little bit of an inspiration there, although lately I've seen a Mont Blanc that looks a little bit like this, believe it or not, especially the barrel. But again, the inspiration of the Faber Castell, I think, is there. And to some extent, even on the D5, you can see it, especially the ridge right there with the pattern. Of course, this is a more elaborate pen, and it's got many differences. But again, I point to that finial, which I think is inspired by Faber Castell. Same thing with this Banjo, widened out. But again, unique in its own way. Wooden barrel, very nice. And last but not least, this Natami, a little bit tighter at the top, but again, very similar to the Andeans and very similar to my Faber Castell. So those are the imitations. Clearly, the Faber Castell is, in my view, the prettiest of them all, and the most classic. And it deserves its place in as an icon, in my view. But what about the nib? And so what I propose is that we take a look at those nibs and do some writing with them. What do you say? Be right back. Okay, we're back for the writing sample. Now, I you know, when I was in Spain, I did buy some ink and I inked it up because I couldn't resist. And I was a little bit disappointed. Let me just cap it because I have something to say here. I was a little bit disappointed. I found the nib skipped a little bit. Now, at the time, I had inked it up with this Graf Von Faber Castell Deep Sea Green, which I find to be a very light and very dry ink, and I thought maybe that this ink may be responsible for that. The flow was missing, and let me tell you, it was extremely disappointing. I have not tested it since. What I've done, though, is that I've cleaned it out, and I've inked it up with this Scribble Blue Capri. So we'll see, which is a nice ink. We'll see how it performs with this other ink, or if it still has a tendency to skip. My original impression was that, my God, I hope I don't have another Lamy 2000, which I have a love-hate relationship with. But having said that, let's hope for the best. So this is the, so far so good, Graf Von Faber Castell. And it's in the Pernambuco. Just want to make sure I spell it right. Well, let me give it a go and we will see. Pernambuco. So far, I don't feel the same dryness and skippiness, but let's keep going. The nib is I think a number 5. At least it appears to be smaller than a number 6. 18 karat. And it's a fine. And it's a Graf Von Faber Castell branded nib. The ink is the Scribo Blue Capri. The paper is Tomoe River, and it's the original. Folks, there's nothing like Tomoe River. I'm sorry, but I'm having a hard time finding an alternative for the future, given that the original no longer exists. That Sanson I haven't been sold yet. The wetness of this nib for a fine, I say a very wet. Smoothness, very smooth, with just a hint of that scribing nose. So just a bit of feedback, just enough to know, to make you realize that you're dealing with a fountain pen, I think. Constant, I'm happy to say that I don't see that skipping anymore, which is a real relief. So far, it's very constant, or consistent, if you will. Not getting that skipping. Softness, or lack thereof. Slight bounce. I get a sense there's a slight bounce there. It's not a completely stiff nib. Let me just see if I could see some. This is no pressure, and this is with pressure. There's definitely, you see that? There's definitely a bounce. Now, is it the gold influence? Perhaps, but very, very nice. Reverse writing. You get an extra fine, a little scratchy, I would say, but doable. Okay, so I think we've essentially covered, and likes and dislikes. I'm not quite convinced that this nib shouldn't be a number 6, but maybe a number 6, given the slimness of this pen, would make it a little bit overbearing. So I'm undecided about the number 5 size nib. And this, like, I would say no posting. But everything else is just, the design is iconic. The build quality is German build, excellent, 10 on 10. The wood barrel just gives it that special look. And you know, when you put it in, you know it's a Faber Castell. Absolutely. I just also like the softness of the nib. And it's just a really wet but precise fine nib. It is a little bit on the expensive side, I find. But again, you're getting quality, and so it's fully justified. Is it a go-to pen? Absolutely. I would not hesitate to be seen with this pen in a crowd, so to speak. 10 on 10. So there you have it. Fountain Pen Therapy has reviewed, finally, this pen. And I give it a 10 on 10. Beautiful addition to my collection, folks. Now, what I want to do is, I've just gone through this writing sample, is maybe compare it to some of these cheaper Hongdian and other brands, just to see where it sits. First of all, the one that resembles to it the most, which is this 1866 Max. I mean, you can tell that the barrel is just not as smooth as the real thing. It's much lighter. That's platinum. This is probably, I would say, it seems soft metal. I would not be surprised if there's some alumina alloy in there that makes it also very light. So this is the Hongdian (1866) Max in that light brown. Now, the reason why it's writing so beautifully is it's got that lemon hand polished nib. And it's a medium. And it's got that little bit of a architect grind there. Very nice. I've got to tell you, the nib makes it very worthwhile. So, you know, if you can't afford the real thing, I think that this is probably a very nice alternative. Next is the same pen, except that it's all in titanium. It's the TI, and this has got an original Hongdian nib in it. I haven't written with this in a while. So it's titanium, and it's got that medium, you know, I forget what they call this, but it's kind of either a flower or a bunch of petals, okay, kind of motif. So it's your standard, I would say, old nib with a slight bounce. Very nice alternative, folks. If you want it all in titanium, this would probably be a good alternative to the classic model, which is all in silver, if you will. Okay. So there you go. If you get another Ongdian, this one is in brass, snap cap, small nib. The other two had number 6 nibs. This has got a number 5 nib. This is the Ongdian. Again, really, really nice. They call it the 1861 Pro. And this one's got a long knife nib. It's got even bigger. You see that? How big that knob is right there? That explains why it's writing almost like a broad. I think it's a long knife, like a 1.0, if you will. But again, can't afford the real thing? Why not? Very nice alternatives. Got to tell you. And they're maybe, what, 10% of the price? I've not inked this one. As you can tell, this thing's spinning. I just got it. Well, I don't want to dirty it because I got to return it to Amazon. It's a snap-on, and it's just, it moves, it spins. So I've not inked it. I just wanted to use it for this video, and it's going back. And hopefully the next one I get will not have the problem. This one, and so that one was the 1862. This one is the 1860 Max with a number 6 nib. Very stiff nib. Medium writer, but very, very juicy, as you can see. And a classic inspiration in my view. Oh, it's a screw-in. This is the 1851, which is even slimmer. Again, number 5. This one is a medium nib as well. So this is the Ongdian, which writes just beautifully, by the way. Ongdian, 1851. I forget to mention the ink. This has Dieman. Emerald. The others I don't know because they were inked already. The 1866 has, let's put it so we'll know. The others are already inked. But this one has Scribble Blue, because I inked it at the same time as the original classic. Oh, I got it all smirched here. There we go. This one is a recent addition. Graf Von Faber, 1861 is the model, with a number 5 standard. Actually, it's an old style Ongdian. So, not writing. Did I ink this? I think I forgot to ink it. Yeah, I forgot to ink it. Sorry about that. Just give me a second. We'll be right back. Sorry about that. Forgot all about it. So this is the Ongdian. Wow. Just a beautiful nib. It's the 1861 carbon fiber motif, and it is a medium, but it's writing like a broad. Does it have a long knife? Let's see. Yeah, it has a long knife. Take a look at that. It has a long knife, and it is it Ongdian or somebody else? It's an Ongdian, but it's a long knife. So Fairly stiff, I would say to you, but juicy. Very nice. Again, all very decent alternatives, in my view, to the real thing. So, although I would encourage you to get this because, it's iconic, if you can't afford it, these are some very reasonable alternatives. This is the Dieman 3047. With the original number 6. So it's not the newer styled number 6 Hongdian nibs. Of course, have the D5 with that springy nib. Again, I can't remember the ink. This is the green version. Springy, fine nib. Which almost, this is probably the nib that comes the closest to the real thing because it feels like a gold nibs. It writes like a gold nib. Really does. It does have a tendency to dry up, unfortunately. We shall see how the Faber Castell performs. This is a Banjo. Again, very nice pen. So this is the Banjo. Very stiff nib, number 5 sized. Number 5. This one I just inked, so I know it's Diamine Emerald. Beautiful ink, by the way, but fairly stiff, but juicy. That's the Banjo. And last but not least is this Natami. Probably the worst nib of them all. It's very stiff. Just a little scratchy. And this has, by the way, Sailor Blue in it. And so does the, now I'm going to smear everything, but this, where is it? The carbon fiber here is Sailor Blue as well. We'll put it here so we'll know. There you go. There you have it. That's I think, a complete comparison. Now, having said all of that, do I still recommend the iconic classic model? Or should you get one of these inspirations? I think if you can afford it, this is definitely should form part of your collection. In my view, it's probably the flagship pen. Maybe not. I know they got some beautiful annual offerings. They always have the year, the pen of the year, which are in the thousands. And the silver version of this is gorgeous. But I think that when you see a pen like this, it's a Faber Castell. And they have cheaper models which resemble this, if you can't afford it, with some wonderful nibs, I hear. But if you want an even cheaper alternative, you've got quite a list here from Dieman and others. I would recommend the one that probably resembles it the most, which is this 1866 Max. And, it's got a number 6 nib. Now, this one has the lemon nib. If you can put, and they sell them, the D5 nib, fine nib on this one, I think that's the closest you'll come to reproducing the real thing. So an Dieman D5 number 6 nib on this 1866, I think would do the trick. Second on my list would be this titanium version, which is just gorgeous, writes really nice, got good weight, good pen. So there you have it, folks. Hope you enjoyed that comparison. Gorgeous Grail. Very happy. Purchased it, and it's in my mind from that beautiful shop in Seville, Spain. I think there's some added value to it, even though maybe I may have cost me just a tiny little bit more. I think it was worth the expense. So there you have it. Thank you very much for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. If you're a first-time viewer, welcome. We review here inks, pens. We have a weekly recap. 2026 is starting with a bang, and we're enjoying our pens, our paper, and our inks, obviously. By the way, keep recommending to me an alternative to Toma River. I've heard from you, but keep throwing notebooks at me. Maybe I'll discover something that I haven't seen yet, so I'd appreciate it. Grazie molto. Thank you very much. Enjoy your week. See you soon. Be well.